what's up, y'all? It's D about to react to this vid. It's titled Tyra Banks is a monster, violating contestants and feuding with Jay Manuel. This is messy, okay? This is regarding this Netflix doc that has come out. People have been talking about it, saying Tyra is so shady. I haven't watched it. I've actually been watching a lot less TV lately. I've been more in my book bag, so I have not watched it, and I don't know exactly what's going on, but I know there have been talks about Tyra in this show for a while now. Let's hear what people are saying. Let's watch.
Tyra Banks is trying to save her reputation with this Netflix documentary, and even though they're addressing some of the biggest scandals, like models being violated on camera or the fallout between Tyra and Jay Manuel, they're not addressing the bigger problem here, which is Tyra refusing to take accountability for what she put these models through. And now she's threatening us with a new cycle of the show. Let's get into it.
Not threatening us with a new cycle. Oh, he messy. Not that's a threat.
Tyra Banks really just sat there in that new ANTM documentary and blamed us for why her show was so messed up. It's sick because she's acknowledging that, yeah, what we did was effed up, but you guys wanted it and it's reality TV. Taking zero accountability and having no guilt or shame for what she put people through.
I do think that's why people liked it, though. They liked seeing the mess and the dramatics, and, you know, they liked that things were intense. Because it was supposed to be like, yeah, this is how it is in the modeling industry. It is cutthroat. It isn't fair, but this is how it is, you know? Like, I feel like that's how it was. I've had opinions about this in the past. I remember I put up a video years ago. People were not happy with my opinion about it, okay? They were in the comments mad at me, chatting. I'm disappointed. Whatever the fuck they were saying. I don't care. I said what the fuck I said, but I just feel like that back in the day, this was more acceptable. Right now, people are a lot more sensitive to certain things, so I feel like now we can look back and be like, wait, that wasn't right back then. It's like we're looking at it through today's lens, but back then it was like, okay, yeah, this is acceptable. You know, this is TV, and especially within the modeling industry, I'm sure it's a lot worse than what was depicted on the show. I'm sure it's about 10 times worse than what Tyra put them through. But, you know, I'm not saying it's right. I don't know all the details because, like I said, I have not watched the doc at all. But I do think that people love to... I just think people like to be pressed and triggered by things, is all, but whatever.
In the new reality check inside America's Next Top Model, you can see Tyra Banks, Ken Mock, and so many others from the show talk about how the show was put together and some of the worst moments. Clips in the documentary show Tyra calling a black contestant's skin ashy, telling a model who faced repeated fat shaming to get a burger and take the bread off, and then pressuring Danny Evans to close the gap in her teeth.
I am convinced that Tyra Banks did not understand the assignment of that Netflix docuseries. Not because it wasn't explained to her or she couldn't have picked it up solely on context clues, but because she is that far gone. I think she believed blaming every assault, eating disorder, and...
But I will say, though, Tyra should be able to come forward and be like, yeah, that wasn't right. You know, hindsight is 20/20. So she should, at her big age, be like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, that was a bit too much. Yeah, you know, so she shouldn't just be like, well, that's just how it was. Like, oh, well, you know, given that she was responsible for all that and it was her show and so many people are looking to her and looking up to her, I do think she has a greater responsibility. So I do think she should be handling it differently.
On production, and we the viewers was going to be enough. We the viewers who were largely teenagers and women also traumatized by the show.
All these people who appeared in this documentary were hand-selected. No, I did not get a call, but they did use my...
Girls on the show, I'm not saying that they can't be traumatized. I don't know what they endured, okay? I don't know all the details. But saying you watched the show and that traumatized you is just like, all right, this is where I get annoyed with people. And I'm not about to play this ridiculous game. I'm sorry. Like, you were traumatized watching the show, but then you kept watching it season after season, but now you blaming Tyra because you was traumatized as a viewer?
Voice. Actually, here's a clip of my voice being used in the Netflix documentary right before Tyra is introduced.
I don't hate Tyra Banks. I do think that she was a sellout. Whatever she's up to.
And just to confirm that's me, I did some digging and I found where they pulled that clip from my Let's Get Into a podcast, which if you've not seen that yet, go and check it out. I don't hate Tyra Banks. I do think that she, like, I think what she did that's
What's the
disheartening is that she kind of like was a sellout, you know? I feel like I haven't heard from her in a while. I wonder what she's up to. One of the really frustrating points in the documentary is how often they use that clip where Tyra Banks is yelling at contestant Tiffany Richardson, stating, "I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you."
Everybody be quiet. That's what it's wrong with you. But you're not.
And you know how iconic this was and how long people have quoted this, but now people looking back, oh, that was so wrong. Why you yell at that girl like that? Like, I don't know. People are just so fake to me. I think that's really fake, given that for decades, this was such an iconic phrase and everybody repeated it and was like, oh, Tyra, yes, da-da-da. And now it's, oh, why did you verbally abuse her? Oh, it was so wrong. It's like, all right. Y'all got it.
I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at this, it's because she loves me.
And let's be clear, I wouldn't have dealt with this. I'm not saying this is acceptable at all. I'd be like, oh, bitch, you got me fucked up. I'm getting up out of here. I wouldn't have put up with most of the shit these girls put up with. But a lot of them were very desperate. I don't say desperate, but a lot of them really wanted to be a model and they were willing to put up with whatever. But it's like, I personally would have been like, all right, you can fuck off. You ain't cutting my hair. You ain't doing this. You ain't doing that, you know? But, you know, they put up with it because they thought it was going to advance their modeling career. And for some of them, it did. Look at Winnie Harlow. She came from the show. Even though she tried to come out and say, oh, this show didn't do nothing for me. Like, girl, after people found you, they found out about you from the show. Whether the show helps you directly or indirectly is irrelevant. It helps you indirectly then, if that's the case, because people definitely notice you from the show. Like, girl, bye.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
Now, Tyra does admit that she went too far in that episode,
Okay.
but Tiffany Richardson
Accountability.
was not part of this project and was not happy with how Tyra recounted this event. Oh, I'm going to put my glasses on for this one. This is going to be good. This is what Tiffany has to say.
Oh.
Hold up, Tyra Banks. Let's keep it cute. You are one lying ass, tied ass B-word. You know how you treated me the whole time off and on camera. You was a bully. You treated me like crap and said the nastiest things about me and my son. That is not how the argument went, but y'all edited it to make it look like you cared. Also, F the Shade Room, F you weird fans, and F you, Tyra Banks. I bet you won't sit down with me face to face and talk about it. Also, F my family too. Y'all don't even defend me. I got more money and helping more people than many of the top models, but that's the update y'all give. Damn shame. So it's been over 20 years and she's over it. Tyra Banks.
Oh, he didn't read the last part, but it says it's giving y'all, and then he's blocking that part. But y'all hating on little black ass me. What the fuck? Y'all hating on little black ass me. Tyra ho, just let it go. It's been over 20 years. Okay. You want her to let it go, but you ain't let it go. You clearly got a lot of built up resentment. See, she wished she would have cursed her out. You know, you wish you curse somebody out and it hunts you. You never got to tell them how, you know, you really felt. And it's like, you got that regret. I feel this regret in her. She's like, damn, I want to curse her out, but I never got the chance.
Date y'all give. Damn shame. So it's been over 20 years and she's over it. Tyra Banks is so insincere, fake and phony. Her one apology, it was so bizarre. Calling the girl boo-boo, she doesn't hold herself accountable at all. Every awful thing that happened, she just says it was 20 years ago and shrugs. I genuinely think that Tyra was so pressed and weird about Tiffany specifically because she looked so much like Naomi Campbell back then. Like, here's a version of Naomi that she could punch down over and over again.
That's a
in the
crazy
docuseries,
reach.
they say that Tyra went so far in her rant to Tiffany that it scared everyone, including the crew. Jay said that she said some things too far, and Tyra admitted that she went too far. It was bad enough that a team of lawyers showed up on set the following week.
Well, what did
we don't
she
know
say?
what the too far stuff was. They don't say. She said before in her BuzzFeed interview that one of the things was, you can go back to your house and sleep on your mattress on the floor with your baby. But that was all she was willing to share. So it's almost like Tyra Banks took out so much aggression on Tiffany. Maybe it's because of her.
You know what I wish Tyra would say? That, hey, I suffered abuse and mistreatment in the modeling industry, was super cutthroat. They called me the N-word, hard R. They pushed me, slapped me, cut off my hair, made me bald-headed. You know, she could have said that and been like, and I projected that onto y'all. You know, I thought that, yeah, this is how it is, but I gave y'all a softer version than even what I had to put up with. But I'm sorry, that was wrong. You know, I would prefer her come out and say that, because I do think that is what it is. I am certain that she suffered way worse, especially being like a black supermodel back in her day. Like, I'm sure it was brutal, it was terrible, and she went through a lot. And I'm sure what she put the girls through, she's thinking, oh, this is cake, you know, compared to what I went through. So she probably did think that it was acceptable back then. But today, knowing what she knows now, she should be super apologetic and be like, yeah, that wasn't right. I shouldn't have done y'all like that, you know? So
with Naomi Campbell, maybe it's just like there's something about Naomi and her presence that threatens or bothers Tyra to the point where she had to make her feel much less than. And I'm curious to what like was on the tapes like that we did not see. Like, what did she really say to this contestant? Because it could be some things that probably would get her canceled even back then.
They said Tyra said so many horrible things that they had lawyers on set the next day. And we hear Jay Manuel say that the things that she said, he would never ever repeat it. But BuzzFeed said they kept pressing her for more details, and she did tell them that Tyra was yelling at her that you can go back to your house and sleep on your mattress on the floor with your baby. And then she wouldn't say anything else that Tyra said when she was literally going off on her. We said during her time on America's Next Top Model, she was constantly getting humiliated over and over and over again. And when it came to this segment, she finally just basically had enough.
That is scary that whatever Tyra said to Tiffany hurt so badly that she won't even repeat it. Like, that's how you know the words really hurt, because she can't even like reiterate what Tyra had said about her because it was so hurtful she doesn't even want to acknowledge it. And if you look at the series, you will see that Tyra's apology within the documentary is not much of an apology. Does not seem like she's changed. Yeah, it's been 20 years, but you're still the same.
Did you do that? Why did you do that? Okay, Tyra said, yeah, she made some shit. She did some shit. You know, she said some shit. And I thank you for that. That is the...
Do you really thank us for that? Tyra did some stuff, Tyra did that, whatever. She's really just trying to bounce it back. Watch how she ends this.
only way you change, that is the only way you get better, is by somebody calling you out on your shit. It is important. And I want to let you know that I want you guys to be just as open as I am now about getting called on my shit. But when somebody calls you out.
Okay, so now she's literally telling us, I want you guys to be as open as being called out on your crap. This documentary is not about me, Tyra. This one's about you. And I don't know who in Tyra's team is working against her by putting her into this documentary. I mean, Tyra has been a little bit off the deep end as far as her ice cream and her crazy appearances, like in December when she was in that yellow wig. She was such a mess. But yeah, this documentary is definitely... You know, it's caught people's attention, but not for the right reasons, especially because Tyra is still continuing to live in this delusion that what she did with this show was all good.
Oh, Tyra, baby, you really should have just sat this one out. All you need to know about this is Tyra Banks just went on to a Netflix special, a 4-part, 4 hours of my life special that Tyra Banks went on simply to gaslight an entire generation of America's Next Top Model fans. She blames us, the reality TV fans. She says that we wanted more, and that's why she had to level things up. Level them up to what? Literally somebody getting raped on national television?
This person writes that Tyra comes off so horribly in this doc. She could have taken accountability, but has done none of that. Tyra acts just like Blake Lively, somebody else.
Also, I think maybe the other reason why I'm like, I don't want to say desensitized, but more so like TV was a bit more unhinged back in the day. I think of the shows I used to watch, from Jackass to Fear Factor, you know, like people were doing wild shit on TV. So it's like there could be docs on all those shows. What if people want to come out and be like, oh, Fear Factor was messed up. Y'all was making them eat roaches and had them trapped in a box with snakes, and people was having like panic attacks and all type of stuff they was putting people through. So it's like all of these shows you could technically go back and pick apart and be like, oh, this was so wrong. Why did y'all have these people do this? Da da da. You know? So I do think that over time things do change and people are able to correct their behavior and norms do shift and things get better over time. And back then it was just it was different. I'm not saying it's right. Like I said, I do think, once again, Tyra should take more accountability for sure. But yeah, I just feel like you could do this same thing with so many other shows.
Right. One thing
So it's like, well, shit, let's make docs on all of them then, if this is what y'all about to do.
that bothered me within this series is how Tyra tried to blame us. Like I said at the beginning of this video, Tyra tried to shift the blame and say that we wanted this, that we escalated what happened with
There were
production
so many
and
other
behind the
shows
scenes
that
with
were,
these
like,
girls
crazy.
because
They was doing
quote,
crazy
you
shit.
guys were demanding it. I was not demanding that Shandy goes and gets essayed on season 2. I was not demanding that these women dress up
What
in
happened?
different, ethnicities or races. I did not demand anyone to go get their teeth altered for Tyra and for the storyline.
It's really disappointing to see Tyra not take any accountability at all whatsoever of anything that she did on the show. Not once did she apologize for any of her actions. All she did was literally throw them onto other people. Like, she literally sat there and said, I wasn't in charge of editing, like, I wasn't in charge of production, like, none of this, like, this was all out of my control. And the way she was talking was just so bizarre. Like, she was talking as if she was still on America's Next Top Model. No sacred cows. That was a terrible impression, but it was like the way she was talking was as if she was literally hosting.
I know that we all like to blame Tyra for everything, and while it seems easy to do that, it's not true. There were other people who were a part of this show. I mean, from the very beginning, they had Ken Mock, and they had Miss J, they had Jay Manuel, they had Nigel, all of these people prepared, willing to go into it and to go hard.
And what about
to make this
Janet?
hit.
She was a mess
and
too.
I don't
She was
really
rude.
appreciate the
I
Jays
don't like her.
and Nigel acting like a victim in all this
Where's
because
she?
they were definitely part of the problem.
Catch some heat for this, but I'm not about to let them use Tyra Banks as a scapegoat. Watching especially Nigel be so oblivious. Oh, I didn't know that was happening. Nigel, Jay Alexander, Jay Manuel, Janice Dickinson, and also that guy
Exactly.
Ken,
Janice
I think was
was
his
a
name.
mess.
That was the whole creator of the show. They all need to be held the fuck accountable too. Jay Manuel, I'm not buying all of that shit that you was saying because you got fired. That now you want to be all against Tyra, but you was all on her ass when it was happening. Switched ethnicities that bothered you so much, but you stayed and announced it, and then try to be like, oh, well, you can see in my face that I'm uncomfortable.
This comment reads that they were complicit. Everyone is guilty. And let's not forget about production. Jay Manuel, Miss J, and Nigel were around the models way more than Tyra. She's definitely being scapegoated. She was problematic for sure, but she wasn't alone. Jay Manuel was on the literal photo shoot
Yeah,
when the
they're fake.
models
Everybody
told them
fake.
she felt uncomfortable, and not only did he dismiss her, he went back and told Tyra a watered down version. And the way that Tyra Banks thought that going through all this history and all this drama was the perfect platform to go and announce the show possibly coming back. She wants to bring the show back.
You have no idea what we have planned for second
Girl,
team.
keep it.
This comment reads, sounds like a threat, and that's exactly how I received it as well. I was like, wait, is that a threat? More victims? Does anyone want to even go on this show? Have you learned nothing? Someone quoted Abby Lee Miller. And it does seem like she hasn't learned anything, which is why...
Where's Project Runway? Oh, that was my shit. I watched that for a while, but then I feel like it got weird and it was watered down. And I think they stopped doing the one with Heidi because that's the one I liked. Ooh, that was my shit. I love Project Runway.
I also don't think that the show could go forward without Jay Manuel or Miss J or some of the main characters.
Who's gonna tell Tyra we don't want a season 25? We want her in jail.
What? All right. This is what I'm talking about. This is where I feel like, okay, y'all doing the most. Once again, I did not watch the doc, so I don't know if it's something super crazy, but I feel like it would have been mentioned if there was something that she did that was illegal. Like, I would have seen a headline or something about that. But this is where I'm like, okay, people do the most. We want her in jail. It's like, all right. Y'all are so fake.
They can really think about what they've done. Now,
Jail.
they caused a lot of trauma in the name of ratings. I was a child.
As
The fact that
every
it was
TV
the
show
full-blown
is.
adults behind these productions and they thought nothing about it is very concerning.
One of the most disturbing stories within this documentary comes from Shandy. Shandy was part of season 2, and there was a time where they went out and she was drinking, and there was...
I even think of these shows that I love, like the Challenge. Having these people, they put their bodies through so much. They have them do all these crazy over-the-top challenges for money. Think about how twisted that is. To dangle money in front of people who clearly need it. They're not doing well financially, okay? They're just like, yeah, so, because they be like, oh, $50,000 could change my life. I could help my family. I could pay for this and that. So it's like, that in itself is very twisted and fucked up if you think about it. To make, these young kids do all these crazy things just at the hopes of getting money, and most of them don't even get money. It's all for ratings, and then they put them in the house together. They be fighting and and they're hungry. All of these shows are trying to, again, if we're gonna take this show down, y'all need to take all of them down, because I feel like all of them are they do things that are questionable, you know? And it's like, well, we could pick apart all of these shows and be like, oh, this is wrong. Why do y'all have the contestants doing you know? So that's just my thing.
Male who had taken advantage of her. She had a boyfriend named Eric at the time, and essentially they caught her, they filmed her, they even went into the bathroom and followed her, because once there's more than one person in a bathroom, they're technically allowed to film there. Shandy claims that she had 2 bottles of wine by herself and she hadn't had much to eat. She got into the hot tub. She remembers April Mercedes getting into the hot tub. Then she remembers the guy looking at me, and I looked at him, and I was pretty drunk at that point. And then they ended up going to the shower. She had to end up calling her boyfriend on the phone. It was really traumatic for Shandy, and she was being like set up as like the villain here, and she's a clear victim.
The cameras filmed Shandy getting into the shower with this man, getting into bed with this man, and in her confessionals, she is actively telling us that she knows that she is blacked out. She is like out of body in this experience. She knows that something is happening to her and she can't feel it. Well, she doesn't explicitly say it, maybe it's just like intentionally not included. She is too impaired to consent. She is essayed on camera. After this experience, she tries to leave the show, and producers are like going back and forth with her, and finally they allow her to have a phone to call her boyfriend, and it's framed as her cheating on her boyfriend. The episode that this happens on is even called The Girl Who Cheated. There's this cut scene of Tyra talking about like, you know, you should just flirt with people, you don't have to cheat on people. Again, this whole thing is framed on the show as her cheating on her boyfriend. When Tyra is asked to speak about this for the Netflix series, she starts off almost like pretending not to remember, and then she's like, you know, that was a difficult situation. The explanation that we get as viewers of the Netflix series is that America's Next Top Model was filmed as a documentary, that the cameras were gonna be there all the time, that all the women knew that the cameras were gonna be there all the time, and again, there was like no active acknowledgement that they filmed this woman being assaulted.
They took it way too far when it comes to Shandy's story, and I'm not surprised that she has PTSD from the situation. A spokesperson for Tyra Banks told Entertainment Weekly that she played no role in the events that occurred that night, adding everyone, including production, was surprised to find out what had transpired. Someone in the comments called her out. I was not part of the production team. Tyra Banks, executive producer, which is crazy because how you're going to be executive producer, yet you're not part of production, yet you're there on set pretty often. Like, do not act like this wasn't your baby and you knew everything that was happening with the show. This made me so angry. This poor girl's life was ruined. So traumatizing. The fact that they named the episode The Girl Who Cheated is messed up. There's video evidence of this essay, and the network had it the whole time, and still to this day, nothing has been done to bring Shandy justice. It makes me sick. They have a crime filmed on tape in a storage room somewhere, and it never...
Wait, so she went in the shower and she had sex with a guy in the shower and...
went to authorities. That is one of the saddest stories within this documentary. Another sad update came from Miss J, actually. Miss J. Alexander suffered from a stroke, and the person who used to teach like all these people how to walk, the models how to walk, wasn't even able to walk themselves.
Spent 5 weeks in a coma. I could walk.
Excuse me.
I could talk. That was being the queen of money.
Keep in mind, Miss J was in a coma for like 5 months, and Tyra Banks didn't reach out once.
The catwalks, of course.
Reach out.
That was being the queen of money.
Keep in mind, Miss J was in a coma for like 5 months, and Tyra Banks didn't reach out once.
The catwalks, of course.
Sloan, if he in a coma, how...
I'm the person who taught Miles how to walk. I taught Miles how to walk.
I'm sorry, Sloan is fake too. I just can't with everybody. Everybody is fake as hell. Once again, I'm not saying that any of this is justified. I don't know these fucking people. Take them all down if you want. I don't care. Cancel everybody. Sure. But I just feel like it's just a lot of just fake shit going around. I feel like people love to be so fake, morally superior online, and it just makes me roll my eyes. It's just a lot, and where I'm just like, all right. So a lot of this shit, like, get up out of here. And do we know her relationship with him? Maybe they fell out. Maybe they were no longer cool. When was this? Like, and then he was in a coma 5 months. She ain't reach out. Reach out to who? Somebody in a coma? What are we talking about? Like, all right.
J. Manuel did an interview with Entertainment Tonight, and part of the reason...
And once again, I'm not defending Tyra. I don't give a fuck about Tyra. All right, I've said before that she was on some bullshit and she's ridiculous. I definitely am not standing up for this lady at all. Don't care about her whatsoever. Okay, I'm just speaking from someone just looking at the situation, and I just think it's a whole bunch of fake shit going on.
Why they feel like Tyra Banks won't acknowledge like Miss J or really any of them is because she doesn't want to face her fears and her past and have those difficult conversations. It's really just Tyra's world. We're living in it.
The thing that's really important around Tyra sending Miss J one text is it came way after Jay was out of the hospital. He was in a coma for 5 months, roughly, and then in the hospital for almost a year and a half. She's been in New York a ton. She's on all these shows, Victoria's Secret Fashion Show, making time to go by for a few hours to sit with the man in the hospital. I can probably say what everybody is thinking. It's just really poor behavior. And I know where it comes from, if I'm gonna be really honest.
Well, sure. If they got inside information, so if she was pretending to be cool with him and he was in the hospital for a year and a half and only 5 of the months was in a coma, then yeah, sure, she trifling as hell. If this is supposed to be her friend, I don't know the deets. So if he's saying it, then sure, maybe she is trifling.
To you, there's a level of fear that she doesn't want to face some things, and I'm just gonna be honest, she's stuck it out.
So unfortunate that Tyra Banks wouldn't go and visit one of her former besties. I mean, Miss J and her go way back from her early modeling days. Seems like the TV show ruined that relationship. This person writes in the comments, I love J. Manuel and Nigel for being there for Miss J. Let's be real, most of us watch the show for Miss J, Mr. J, and Nigel. We did see J. Manuel and Miss J and everyone else throughout this documentary, not Janice Dickinson, but I want to talk a little bit about J. Manuel because a lot of people are talking about his friendship fallout with Tyra Banks. That actually happened after cycle 8 when Jay decided to leave America's Next Top Model.
That's why I'm
Tyra was very disappointed.
Okay, he not even cool with her anymore. So who? Whatever.
And cold towards Jay for that, which kind of like threw their friendship out the door. Despite trying to leave, Jay did return for cycle 9 due to pressure, which he claimed Tyra would only speak to him when cameras were on. It was a toxic work environment. Jay Manuel was later blindsided after he was dismissed from the show after cycle 18. Then they continued with 6 more cycles. So him and Tyra had an interesting relationship. I mean, clearly he wanted to leave, then she got mad, and then can you imagine one of your former friends, they watched the premiere of this America's Next Top Model at Jay's apartment, and Tyra's mom was there. They were very close friends. So to get to the point where they only spoke on camera is really intense. And Jay was actually asked about his feelings of Tyra coming on and talking about the relationship, and I need you guys to take a look.
Seeing Tyra's reaction to being asked, is she ready to speak about what happened between her and myself?
Can we talk now about what happened with you and Jay?
I should call Jay. I don't want to do this here. Yeah.
My phone number's the same. She knows it. I have not gotten a phone call, but I don't think I will get that phone call, to be honest with you. And I'm not expecting it. In Tyra's world, and this can speak to everyone in Tyra's world, you don't leave Tyra. Tyra leaves you. If I never spoke with Tyra again in this lifetime, I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with it. I don't need it.
Do you miss the friendship?
I don't.
The way that he said, I don't, is just hilarious in my opinion. No, he doesn't miss that relationship. He doesn't. I don't. But I want to hear what you guys think.
I don't trust these people. I don't trust none of them. And let's be clear. Let me start with saying fuck them all. Fuck Tyra, Jay, Miss J, all of them. Fuck them all. Let's start there, okay? But I also don't trust these other people who are all trying to point the finger at Tyra and it was only her. None of us had anything to do with it. She's the big bad villain. Let's all team up and say that she's the problem. I don't like that either. So, I'm just side-eyeing everybody. But, sure. I'm sure this was all a hot mess. And there were some people who were actually traumatized on the show. And they have the right to speak up and talk about their experience, but I just think it's interesting that people was eating this show up when they were kids, and now that they're older they're just like, oh, horrible. The horror. And obviously as you become an adult you do look back at things and be like, yeah, that wasn't right, that was wrong, and it's okay to do that and it's okay to point things out, sure, but I just do think people take it a bit far. Tomorrow we need Tyra in jail. It's just like, all right, did she commit a crime? Like, let me know if I'm missing something. But yeah, who knows. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this though, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.